Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada. I hope that all of you are having an awesome weekend so far. Welcome Fuang, hi Stelviana, and welcome to our chat moderator, Sarah. It's great to have you all here. Students, this is an IELTS speaking class to start off today about fake products. Kind of an interesting topic for today. And this is a members chat class. So to join the chat, you have to click on the join button next to the subscribe button on the channel and then choose the correct membership for you. Of course, everybody is welcome to watch. We have a speaking part 3 class coming up after this, which will be connected to the topic of this part 2. And this is brought to you by aehelp.com. For academic IELTS, definitely check us out there. For the general IELTS, visit us at gieltshelp.com. We will be using these websites today for our lesson, as we usually do. These are the companion sites to these live classes. This is aehelp.com here. You want to click this big red button there to join our premium IELTS package right up there. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. And then you will have all of our practice exams, videos, and much, much more to help you on your IELTS and English journey. We are an IDP affiliate. We're a British Council partner, an IELTS test registration center, certified British Council agents. So you are in great hands with us. You click that join now button and then you complete the payment form, and you can use this code WRA9 coming from one of our latest videos to get an additional 10% discount. The price varies. It's cheaper in some countries depending on your local economy. We just want to help as many students as possible. General IELTS, it's gieltshelp.com. It's the green background, and again, you can click that big red button and you can speak with other students through the websites and native English speakers as well. So you want to definitely register and use the site daily when you're getting ready for IELTS especially. And you can download the apps and link them to the website so that you can combine your learning on the go. Academic IELTS Help, General IELTS Help, grab those apps from your app store, link it to the website under more, and you're off to the races. Follow us on Instagram, IELTS_AEHelp. GIELTS Help. Raquea Sanantha, nice to see more people. Domenico joining in on the class as we get going this morning. Well, morning time for me. It is 5:34 a.m. All right, students, if you have questions, send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com or admin@aehelp.com. Either of those emails will get you answers. And for paper books, like paper physical book exams, AE Helps Academic IELTS and G Helps General IELTS from Amazon. So you can order our exam books from Amazon as well. Lots and lots of ways to help you prepare. Okay, nice to see everybody sending out some salutations. Students, the streaming schedule, January 21st to the 28th. So we have our speaking part 2 followed by speaking part 3 right now. Then tomorrow we will have a Discord session, which is really fun, with our partners IELTS Prep. IELTS Prep, they're an incredible group of people. It's 10,000 students. It's a group of IELTS learners that learn together and share information together. It's absolutely free. So check that out. You may need to install the app and register on their server. That takes a couple of steps, but you can figure that out. Just use that link that I put in there. Then on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, there's no class as usual, and I'm back on Thursday with speaking part 1 for everybody. So pay attention to the schedule subscribe. We have subscribers classes where subscribers are the ones who get to be able to join the chat. And when you subscribe to the YouTube channel, then you will get notifications of these schedules and live classes as well, and our latest releases like this one here that I will copy for you into the chat. We've got lots of great ways for you to learn and improve your English. Let's get going with speaking part 2. I want you to do a lot of practice today, members, students. So IELTS speaking part 2. We've got another object this week for us. Last week, I believe it was the dream house, and that was an object of gigantic proportions, right? Because a house is a large object. We might be talking about smaller objects this time, but it's good practice. What is this object? Let's take a look at this. So your first step, students, as you know, is always just to read that question really carefully. In fact, if you've got some good English skills, then you really need to focus more on your communication skills. And in that case, what you want to do is you want to read the question twice, 2 times over, just to make sure that you're very, very clear on what you need to say. Okay? So here we go. Talk about an object you got, which is a replica and not original. Okay. What is this item? Where did you get it? When and where do you use it? How is it different than the original? And what is your opinion about it? Okay, let's just read this one more time. So read with me here, everyone. Talk about an object you got which is a replica and not the original. What is this item? Where did you get it? When and where do you use it? How is it different than the original? And what is your opinion about it? Okay, so as some of you may or may not know, part 2 of the IELTS speaking comes after about 5 minutes of talking to the examiner about your hobbies, your interests, some general topic like studying in school or going to work or listening to music or watching movies. And then after you're done that first 5 minutes of back and forth Q&A, the examiner says, that is the end of part 1. We will now continue with part 2. For this part, I will show you some questions. You will have 1 minute to read these, think about your answers, and then you will have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. You can take notes in this 1 minute time if you wish. I will tell you when to start, when to stop. Talk about an object you got, which is a replica and not the original. Your 1 minute preparation time begins now. And then that's when you read the question twice. Now, of course, you're paying attention to this topic sentence intensely, okay? You have to be on topic. If you start talking about a gift that you got from your friend for your birthday, it's not going to do really well. All right. So let's do this. So when we're talking about a replica, okay? Firstly, let's kind of think about, do we know any other words for a replica? So one really good strategy in part 2 is as soon as you identify the focus, like the main point, we could say the topic of the question, then you want to think about synonyms. Synonyms will help you to process your thoughts and to come up with better ideas. So here, it's a replica that you own, right? So what's another way to say replica? And we could say fake. It's a fake. It's not the original, right? We could say not original. These are all kind of in the question as well to help you, right? So how is it different than the original? There you go. There's a bit of help for you there in the question, right? So let's see if anybody has some other vocabulary that they can bring to the table today, which means a fake product. Romelia, very good. It's a counterfeit. Duplicate is okay. Duplicate might be an original. It just might be a double. So you got to be careful with duplicate, but you could use duplicate if used correctly. Yep. Duplicate. Imitation, very good. Nice. Good one, Domenico. Okay. It's a copy. Yes, absolutely. So many ways to say it, right? It must mean that it happens a lot in society. Usually when you have so many ways to express an idea, it's because it's very common, right? So fake, not original, counterfeit, duplicate, imitation, copy. Sunantha says it's an optotype. That's a new word for me. Sunantha, optotype. I'd have to check that out. I'm not going to put it up just now because I don't know the definition of optotype. I've never heard that word before. I've heard prototype, Sunantha. That means it's the original. That's different. But optotype, I believe you might be correct. I've just never heard that word. A clone. Yeah. Jatinder, clone would be okay. And there's a kind of an interesting expression for it as well. Andrew, very good, has it up top there. It's a knockoff. Okay, knockoff product. So there we go, everybody. Now keep in mind that this is speaking. So I want you to speak and repeat, okay? So copy what I say, copy how I say it. Let's focus in on these words so we start to generate some thoughts and ideas. Just copy me. So be my replica. Fake, not original, counterfeit, duplicate, imitation, copy, clone, knockoff. All right. So clearly here we're talking about an object, not a person, not a place, not an event, not an idea. So when we're talking about an object, we're going to talk about its appearance. So we're going to talk about what this knockoff looks like once we've thought of it, right? We're going to talk about its origin, where it came from. Where did this knockoff find its way into our homes or into our possession? We're going to talk about its functionality. So how is it used? Okay, how do we use this object? Okay, we'll talk about its utility or its usefulness. Okay, so what is its utility? What is its usefulness? And we'll talk about the experience, especially with a knockoff, right? What is our personal experience? How do we feel about this knockoff? So we're going to include all of this information, and then in that sense we will most likely answer all of the questions, but do pay attention to the questions. Okay, for high band scores you have to answer all the questions. The card is not just there to guide you, it's there to instruct you. You have to answer all the questions on the card. So if we look at the card, you see this last one here, how is it different than the original and what is your opinion about it? Now if you talk about your experience, there's a good chance you're going to answer that question, but do make sure that you pay attention to the question and say, well, the original is made from better quality materials. It definitely is more reliable, right? Okay, so definitely pay attention to those questions. And now that we have the object, we want to definitely think about the tense as well. So think about the popular tenses that you would use. Here, I'm guessing that the tenses that I'm going to use to respond to this question will be past tense, because I'm talking about when I got this replica. So past tense, maybe past perfect, present tense, because I'm talking about having this object, using this object. Now, maybe some conditionals as far as grammar goes. It's not really tense, but conditionals, right? Like if I had bought the original, I would have paid 5 times more for it. However, it could have been a lot more useful in some situations. So a lot of conditionals might be coming into our response here. So keep that in mind, okay? Raquel says, if I give only answers to the questions, can I get a good score on the card? I'm looking at your thoughts here, members. I have not gone off on my own tangent completely, believe it or not. Raquel just asked this question. This is a really good question, Raquel. So I'm going to take a second to answer this question because there's actually quite an interesting answer for this. If I give only answers to the questions, I think this is what you're asking here, Raquel. If I give, Raquel, make sure you use correct capitalization, even in the chat, okay? If I give only answers to the questions on the card, can I get a good score? The answer is yes. You can get a band 9. As long, and this is a very important little piece here to the answer, Raquel, as long as your overall response is well structured, coherent, and connected. Okay? So Raquel is asking a really good question here, and I want to answer this really clearly for everybody who's watching because I think this is a point of confusion. So yes, it is. It's possible. And the strategy that I'm showing you is this strategy. You are doing this, okay? So keep this in mind, Raquel. So the strategy I'm showing you is for this purpose. It's really important that you understand this, Raquel. So when I say talk about the object's appearance, origin, function, utility, I'm actually asking you to answer the cue card and the questions on the cue card in a structured way. You're not really including any new information that you're not being asked for, okay? All I'm doing is I'm taking the card and I'm dissecting it, I'm pulling it apart, and I'm putting it together in such a way that you have a structured response so that it's coherent, okay? So if you think about it, the what is this item is basically its appearance, okay? So IELTS has this ability to ask you these questions in many different ways, but you're really just looking at these pieces of information. So where did you get it as its origin, right? When and where do you use it is basically its function and utility, right? So how do you use this object and what do you use it for? You're answering those questions, okay? And this last one, how is it different than the original and what is your opinion about it? This is basically the experience that you have with it, okay, Raquel? So you're basically always answering these. It's just the logic of these kinds of topics. So when you're talking about an object, the logic of that topic or of that category is to include this information in this order to make it really coherent, okay? Because the key here is coherence, 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 okay? The issue when students just kind of look at the card, answer, look at the card, answer. And so I have seen this before where students are like, okay, where did I get it? I got this at the supermarket near my home last week. Okay, how do I use it? So the way that I use this object is when I go to, now if you do that, you may or may not have a structured response because sometimes the questions on the cue card are not organized all that well, or they don't seem that transparent, and you can have this very awkward kind of 1 to 2 minute response, and the examiner might give you an okay score if you're using good grammar, good vocabulary, but they're not going to give you a band 9 for it, okay, because they can't justify that it's great communication or excellent communication. Okay. I can see a lot of thumbs up, so I'm thinking that makes sense, okay? So just keep in mind, I'm just going to make a note here for everybody that's watching. So keep in mind that if you go question by question on the card, it can sound extremely awkward and disjointed. So you may get an okay score with good vocabulary and grammar, but you will not get a great score. So let's say like band 6 or 7 instead of band 8 or 9. Okay? All right. Hopefully that makes sense. Ooh, Kennel, look at you go. Congratulations. Big thumbs up for Kennel. Thank you for sharing that. Kennel, please send me an email. I'd love to get your testimonial. You've been a student of mine for a while, and it would be lovely to have your face on our website along with our other success stories. So Kennel, please do send me an email so I can get your testimonial. Kennel, it's Adrian at aehelp.com or admin at aehelp.com. Okay? And I want to hear your story. Thank you, Kennel. I see that you said, yeah, I will. Awesome. Thumbs up. 7.5. You are between a good and a very good user of the English language. That's fantastic. That's the score that most native speakers average when they sit the IELTS exam. It's 7.5. So you're at that level, and you should be very proud of that. That's no small feat, as they say. Okay. All right, so let's get refocused here, students. That was a really good question by Raquea and a really good result by Kennel. So again, the part 2 question is talk about an object you got which is a replica and not the original. Okay, and so we're going to talk about its appearance, origin, functionality, utility, and the experience we have with it while paying attention to the questions. And we've got all these fake, not original, counterfeit, duplicate, imitation, copy, clone, knockoff. All right, so now what we want to do is, before we write down some notes, we want to, and this is, in my opinion, it's the most important step in the part 2 preparation, and potentially the most important step in your entire IELTS speaking interview. So what you need to do here is you need to think of 3 to 4 good ideas. And of course, think about what you really own. Like think about, what you have in your house or what you have as your possessions. But definitely think of 2 or 3. So think of 2 or 3 possible great answers and choose the best one. The best one's going to be the one that's going to be original, which is ironic because you're talking about a counterfeit. It's going to be an original answer, so not everybody's talking about it. It's going to be relatively easy to talk about, okay? And it's going to have lots of content, okay? That's the ideal situation here. So, knockoffs, replicas, what do you think, students? What are some common... okay, Andrew says a fake MacBook from a Chinese store. Okay, a MacBook. Fake computer. Okay, MacBook. Yep. I've heard of those. Fake MacBook. Sure. Fake Huawei earbuds. Okay, so I like how you're being very specific, Andrew. That's good. That's what you should be doing. Yep, Chinese knocking off even their own products. Huawei earbuds. Yep, a lot of knockoffs come out of China, that's for sure. Okay, Jatinder says fake Nike Air Force One shoes. Jatinder says a cloned iPhone. Yes, so I think one of the most counterfeited devices since 2000 was the iPhone 7. I think it was the iPhone 7. I think they say like more than half of the iPhone 7s out there are replicas. Okay. Domenico says a replica of a vintage camera. Now that would be a different story, right, Domenico? And we've seen those before. So replica vintage camera. Now here, see, Domenico, this might be difficult to talk about if you're not sure what it is that you're talking about, right? So let's say replica vintage. Ooh, let's be really Leica 1. I think that was one of the very first cameras ever made, Domenico, if you're into cameras. So replica vintage Leica 1. Okay. A replica or a fake dress, Raquel says. Yes, I think that some of the most kind of knockoff clothes or knockoff dresses are often like women's handbags. So I might go with something like a fake Chanel bag. Okay, handbag. Yeah, so there are definitely fake Chanel clothing out there as well, a lot. Or, for example, a lot of fake Calvin Klein clothing out there. But definitely a fake Chanel handbag, Raquel. There's a lot of fake Versace and Gucci, a lot of those. Domenico probably knows a lot about this. A lot of fake Italian clothing out there as well. Okay, and Lamia says sunglasses. Lamia, what kind of sunglasses? There's a couple of brands that are very commonly forged or faked. Domenico says it's a made-up story. Yeah, Domenico, it's okay to make up the story, but I think, most of us have had experience with replicas, so you should try to think of a real one. Romelia says, I wrote a fake designer handbag, but you ignored my message. Where is it, Romelia? Oh, it looks like you erased it. Yeah, Ray-Ban, Kennel, absolutely. There are so many fake Ray-Ban sunglasses out there. It's unbelievable. There's probably 5 fake Ray-Bans to every real one out there. Ray-Ban. I think is it with a big B like that? I don't know. Ray-Ban, I think it's like that. But anyway, Ray-Ban sunglasses. Okay. All right. Good. I think we've got lots there. I think that we can definitely take one of those and we can go with it. Let's go with the fake sunglasses this time, just for the example. And then when you're practicing, you can go with whatever you'd like, okay? So now I take notes. Okay, so here we go. It's appearance. All right, and you can actually, so just so you remind yourself, you can go up like this or appearance. Well, don't write out the whole thing, even just an A like that on your notes. So you know you're talking about the appearance. So I'd go appearance, okay? And then here, aviator style, okay? Gun lens, gray. Okay, so I'm taking the information that isn't necessarily in my head and easy to talk about. So I'm writing down only vocabulary and ideas that that will help me to be more fluent when I'm speaking. Okay, so aviator, I probably wouldn't write style. So you want to be really efficient with your notes. And today I'm going to show you how efficient I am. So I'm not going to say gun lens. Gun is the color of the lens in this case. Okay, it's that darker gray. So I just go aviator, gun, and then metallic. Okay, the frame is the metallic part. But again, I don't write frame because I know that just from writing these words, okay? So that's the appearance. And then I talk about its origin. All right. Countryside, gas station. All right, that's enough for me. All right, now I know that when I'm talking about where I got it, and I got it from, I might write down something like 10 bucks. Okay. All right. Okay. And then I talk about how I use it. Okay. Now, maybe I got this at this gas station because I really needed it for driving. It was very bright, right? So driving and vacation. That's all I'm going to write down, because from that I can get all of my ideas. Like, okay, I got this when I was going on vacation because I lost or I forgot my quality sunglasses and I just needed a quick replacement to get me through my vacation and my driving. It was really sunny, right? So I've got the use, or when I'm using it, right? All right, how I use it. Okay. So it's functionality. Put on ears, face, shield eyes. Okay. I don't digress here too much because sunglasses, they're not so complicated that we need to explain this too much. If you're talking about a MacBook, you might want to give a little bit of a more description of how you're using it. But for sunglasses, we don't need to. Okay. It's more about the purpose of it, right? Experience, flimsy, falls, okay, dark, no UV protection, okay, no polarization, okay, all right. And that's also different from the original. Okay, so here, I would probably not write different from the original in my notes. I just write diff, orig, something like that. And I probably wouldn't even write not polarizing. I would just go polarizing and then probably do like a strike through when I'm doing my notes. So something like, let me see if I can do that somehow, strike through. Anyway, there's a way to do that, but so I would just strike that through. Like I would just literally just cross it out like that, right? And that would be like no UV, no. So I wouldn't even write down these no words, okay? Or just exit like that, right? Okay. So using symbols, using abbreviations in that 1 minute when you're doing your notes is a really good idea. And again, when you're taking notes, okay, so in your fourth step here, Step 4, make sure that it's useful notes. That means notes that help you to be more fluent and avoid repetition. All right. Andrew says strain on the eyes. Yes. Yeah, so you might write something like pain or strain. Sure. Yep, absolutely, Andrew. Lamia says, thumbs up to those pair of fake Ray-Ban sunglasses. Okay. All right. All right. Ramelia says it increases the risk of cataracts and other eye problems. Yeah, let's not get too emotionally involved. So, Ramelia, I have a feeling you might have had a terrible experience with some fake sunglasses. Let's not get too emotionally involved with the answer either, though, okay? So let's just kind of stay on target here. But yes, in the real world, I definitely do not recommend overusing low-quality sunglasses. They can really be a problem for sure. Okay, so my next step here, step 5, and as you all should know this by now, is to have my first sentence ready. So get my first sentence ready. Okay. So now here for the very first sentence, I highly recommend using the same word as the original. So don't paraphrase in this first sentence these key pieces, okay? Just so the examiner knows that you really are clear about what the card is asking and you're actually answering the question on the card. Then as you go along, as you start to elaborate, use your synonyms for sure, okay? So Last summer, while I was on vacation, I clearly, clearly, sunglasses, knockoff. So last summer, while I was on vacation, I clearly remember purchasing a pair of replica Ray-Ban sunglasses. Okay, nothing too complicated. I want this first sentence to be very clear. I want it to answer that topic question extremely accurately. And of course, here we're talking about sunglasses, and because sunglasses, you have two glasses, right? One here, one here. It's important that you really pay attention here to this plural. It's not sunglass, but sunglasses, and it's a pair of, like a pair of pants, right? A pair of sunglasses. Remember that strange situation in English with clothing, right? Pants are plural because it's like each leg gets its own pant. So pant legs, pants. Same with sunglasses. Each eye gets a glass, so you've got sunglasses. Okay, so last summer, while I was on vacation, I clearly remember purchasing a pair of replica Ray-Ban sunglasses. These aviator style are very common. Some of you know that, I'm sure, what these are. These aviator style gun-colored lenses with a metallic frame beauties. Caught my eye while we stopped at a gas station on our way to Tofino. Okay. Tofino is a beautiful beach, Long Beach is there here on Vancouver Island. You can check that out just for some fun, okay? All right, so I'm describing what these look like. I had, notice the past perfect coming in here, decided to purchase these knockoffs for a whopping $10 because I realized too late that I had left my original Ray-Bans on my counter at home. It had been a very sunny summer so far, and I knew that I would need them to shield my eyes. Since I was one of the designated drivers, I wanted to be safe and see the road clearly. Okay, good. So all I'm really doing here is I'm going through my notes, right? Those useful notes. Aviator style, I've got that. I've got the gun color. I've got that it's metallic. I've kind of got the countryside gas station, the $10. I haven't described how to use it yet, but I can do that together with the experience here, I think. The driving vacation, check, that's going really well. And my experience, the flimsy, the falls, the dark, polarizing strain, I haven't done that yet, so I need to really focus on that. And the IELTS examiner really likes focus on that last question, especially, so a lot of elaboration. You really want to do that. You really want to elaborate those last one or two questions, okay? So, however, to my grave disappointment, these sunnies, I think sunnies like this, these sunnies, I think sunnies like this, these sunnies, I think sunnies like this, these 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 sunnies like It's a slang, so sunnies. To my grave disappointment, these sunnies were very poor clones. I think that was Sunantha that suggested that, maybe? Somebody. Jatinder suggested that. It's a good one here. So, however, to my grave disappointment, these sunnies were very poor clones of the original. The frames were extremely flimsy. Anybody know what flimsy means? Flimsy's like, I don't have any sunglasses around me, but flimsy's like when they're very loose. They're like they just don't stay on your face. They move around a lot. The frame, it's very flimsy. Okay? It's the opposite of sturdy. So sturdy, flimsy. Okay? Yes, Andrew, unsteady. Exactly. So the frames were extremely flimsy. The lenses were too dark, and they definitely did not filter UV rays, nor were they polarizing. So by day 2, my eyes were quite sore, and I was getting really frustrated pushing the sunglasses back onto my face every 2 minutes. Okay, so far so good. Now I'm really going along here. I'm checking off all the boxes, making good connections. I have good coherence, right? And I have that last question. Remember that last question on the card? It says, how is it different than the original, and what is your opinion about it? Students, have I answered this question? So did I answer how is it different than the original, and what's your opinion about it? Think about your ideas. Think about what you're going to talk about, because I'll be taking volunteers very, very soon. But I also want you to answer this. Okay, Raquea says no. Andrew says first part yes, second part not sure. Raquea says yes. Helen says yes, you did. The answer here, the good answer here is not clearly. Okay, so ideally, what you're giving me as your answer right now in the chat is, Adrian, yes, but not clearly. Okay, that's what you should be writing. You should be saying yes, but not clearly. Okay, that's what you should write. This is a very important tip for your IELTS exam, students, and I keep repeating this for part 1 and part 2 questions as well, but you have to be direct. Okay, so you must be direct in the IELTS, okay? It's very, very important that you do this, okay? So you must be direct with your answers. Let me show you what I mean, okay? So here, you're right, I do kind of answer it, right? So I'm saying like, okay, the lenses were too dark. They were definitely not filtering UVs. They were not polarizing. So, we're assuming that the originals fit much better and they're polarizing and they're just much better lenses. We're assuming that, and we're correctly assuming that, but you have to state that for the examiner, okay? So even though I saved a ton of money as the originals, as original Ray-Bans start around $150, they were nowhere near as good quality. My Ray-Bans at home have much better lenses, stay on my face, and my eyes don't hurt after wearing them for a couple of hours. Okay, so now I have directly answered the question. Okay, all right, is that clear, students? So the difference between direct and indirect, you do not want your examiner connecting the dots, all right? Do not expect the examiner to connect the dots. Okay, figure out the implied information. So connect the dots, as many of you know, you've got all these pictures, you know, where you have like little dots, right? And then you have to connect the dots to figure out what you're looking at, okay? And you can do that. You can connect the dots. Yes, it's still a stick man. Adrian is still drawing stick man. Okay, so connect the dots is a figure of speech. It means to imply or assume the missing information. Okay. All right, students. So here we go. Let me read this, and then I'll give you a chance to give some of your own answers. I want you to practice lots for me today. Okay, so here we go. Talk about a replica that you own that is different from the original. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking. Students, listen and repeat. Here we go. Last summer, while I was on vacation, I clearly remember purchasing a pair of replica Ray-Ban sunglasses. These aviator-style gun-colored lenses with metallic frame beauties caught my eye while we stopped at a gas station on our way to Tofino. I had decided to purchase these knockoffs for a whopping $10 because I realized too late that I had left my original Ray-Bans on my counter at home. It had been a very sunny July so far, and I knew that I would need them to shield my eyes. Since I was one of the designated drivers, I wanted to be safe and see the road clearly. However, to my grave disappointment, these sunnies were very poor clones of the original. The frames were extremely flimsy. The lenses were too dark, and they definitely did not filter UV rays, nor were they polarizing. So by day 2, my eyes were quite sore and I was getting really frustrated pushing the sunglasses back onto my face every 2 minutes. Even though I saved a ton of money, as original Ray-Bans start around $150, they were nowhere near as good quality. My Ray-Bans at home have much better lenses, stay on my face, and my eyes don't hurt after wearing them for a couple of hours. All right, and then the examiner will say, your time is up, put your card to the side, and now we'll continue with part 3. So you've done a good job, you've answered all the questions, you're good to go. 1 to 2 minutes. if you feel like you've answered the questions and there's not much more to say, stop for a moment and wait for the examiner to stop you. If the examiner doesn't stop you, like you feel like, okay, I've really answered all the questions, but the examiner hasn't stopped me. They're still looking at me like, talk more, okay? What should you do? So before we get into our practice here, just this last tidbit, what should you do? Like you're like, okay, I answered what they are, where I got them, how they're different from the original, when and why, but the examiner is still kind of looking at me like, anything else to add? Maybe they're spacing out or they're just really enjoying your story. What should you do? What should you do? Lamia says, give another example. Andrew says, go into more detail. It's not, those are not bad ideas. They're kind of good ideas. There's one other strategy you can employ to really kind of signal to the examiner that you're finished. Okay? All right? So conclude. What you can do is you can conclude. You can say something like, certainly in the future, if I get into a similar situation, I will consider buying a second original quality pair of sunglasses instead of cheap imitations. Okay, so this is like a concluding sentence that finishes the story and signals to the examiner that you are done. Hopefully they're not completely spaced out. They catch the sentence and then say, okay, your time is up, right? So think about this kind of a concluding sentence. Reflect back on the original sentence. So students, when we're doing our practice, okay, I want you to do this for me. I want you to have a concluding sentence, okay? So during our practice time, add a concluding sentence to signal for me that you are done. Okay, everybody got that? So we're going to do the practice. I'm going to get you to volunteer. I'm going to show everybody how to volunteer. Now, all of our viewers who are watching, take note, because in the next class, you will have a chance to volunteer as well. Okay, I see some thumbs up coming up there. That's great. So to volunteer for speaking, Sarah, if you're still with us here, just maybe throw the instructions into the chat for everybody, in case we have some members that might not know how to do this. I think Masinati might be new to the group here, so we want to help everybody out. We want to hear everybody's voice. If you have not volunteered in the past, please do so. Be brave, okay? I don't bite, I promise. Okay, go to aehelp.com. Go to the website. Log into your My Student account. If you don't have one, create one. Then click on Student Partner Speaking. And then, oh, thanks, Sarah. And then make sure that your microphone is enabled. Test it, okay? If you've never used it before, test it. You might need a VPN. You might have to check your settings, change your settings, okay? There are a lot of moving parts here. So again, we go to aehelp.com. This is aehelp.com. You sign up for the premium course by clicking this big red button that's just above my head here, okay? For the premium package, or that one. You can click either one of those big red buttons. Okay, it's a one-time payment, lifetime access. You can also click this green button to try it for free. Okay, The speaking with other students is absolutely free. It's a free function of the website. We just want students to use it, to talk to each other. And you get into your My Student account. In your My Student account, you have lots of goodies. You have computer-based practice exams. You have a full interactive course with strategies. You have lesson videos, audio CDs. So there's lots of help there for you. Okay, check out the speaking sections that teach you these tips. Okay, and right now we're going to the student partner speaking, which is right there. You click on that. Accept the terms that you are polite and you're responsible for your words. And then you're in here, and we've got our premium students in here, and we've also got our members in here who may not yet be premium students, although I highly recommend it. And then, we've got combinations like Raquea, who is both a premium student and a member. It's a great way to go about it. Okay. And then send me a message. My handle is master. Send me a message saying I want to volunteer by clicking on the blue envelope. Okay, so the little blue envelope beside master, and then say, hey, how you doing? And we'll practice in this class. Now, students, this tool is designed for everybody. So when you're not talking to me in these live classes, please use this to talk to each other, to find a speaking partner, a study partner, especially if you're premium students. Be very careful with your personal information, but definitely practice, okay? There's some sample scripts for you to use up top here, IELTS speaking scripts, and we'll add more to those. There's 15 of them there, okay? All right, so let's get going here. I'm going to put my ears on here, and we'll start with Silviana. Today, looks like Silviana's ready to go. She's right at the top of the list here. Silviana, are you ready? Okay.
Hello.
Hi, Silviana.
Hello. Yes,
How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for asking, sir. How about you?
I'm doing good. We haven't spoken in a while, have we?
Yes,
All
because of
right.
the holiday.
All right. Did you have a good holiday?
Yes. Last
All
December, I went to a vacation with my family.
all right. Where did you go?
Just another city in Indonesia. It is called Semarang.
Okay. Did you buy any fake Ray-Ban sunglasses on your way at a gas station?
No, no.
You never know. You're like, hey, that happened to
Yeah,
me. Right?
yeah.
That's a common situation. So,
hmm
okay, Silviana. Well, I will give you a chance to answer this cue card here for us. I will show you the questions. And if you'd like, you can kind of stay on the same topic. So you can talk about sunglasses, or you can completely come up with your own answer. Maybe you already thought of one during the class. Whatever you choose, it's up to you. I will start you off and then I will give you feedback, okay?
Okay.
All right. So that is the end of part 1. We will now begin part 2. For this part, I will show you some questions. You will have 1 minute to prepare and 1 to 2 minutes to speak. You can take notes in this time if you wish. Talk about an object you got which is a replica and not original. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
Okay. Actually, I'm a little bit shy to talk about it, but if I think about it again, it's a quite funny story. So when I was in the fourth grade of elementary school, some of my friends already had mobile phones. Nokia 5110 was a big hit that time. And unfortunately, I hadn't. So I asked my mom for my own phone, but she said that I need to wait until junior high school. I was crying a lot back then and whimpering to her like every day. Until one day, on my 8th birthday, she bought me a Nokia, exactly the same type that I wanted, in bright red color as my birthday present. I was over the moon. The next day, I brought it to school and showed it to my friends. When they saw it and tried to use it, suddenly they laughed at me and said it's probably a fake one. I was confused and embarrassed at the same time. Hence, I just knew that mine is totally different from the real one because basically it's just a replica or a toy. Yes, it's true you can make a call from it, but the bot will answer. It also can record a sound. In fact, my mom recorded her voice, and if I press the call button to contact her, it's just her recording. It's also operated with 4 pieces AAA batteries. However, I was amazed with the look because it's so similar to the real one, like the button, screen, ring, all of it. On top of that, you can also play the popular snack game,
Okay,
which
your
I
time
enjoyed
is
so much
up.
too.
I will stop you there. Please put the note paper to the side. And now we will continue with part three. Silviana, first of all, what a story. Did that really happen?
Yes, actually.
It felt like it felt too good to be a fake story. So
Yeah. It's a toy that my mom bought to me, bought for me.
and at that time you might have been really disappointed, but now I'm sure you're probably like, oh, mom loves me so much. She went the extra effort to make me happy. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
right. It's amazing how that changes as we grow older and we understand the
Yes.
world more. A fake Nokia. Wow. Okay. So a very good story, and I think you would get quite a good band score for this. So you have really good fluency. It's very connected. It's got a start. It's got a middle. It's got almost a finish. It doesn't have a finish because you ran out of time, right? So, and we'll talk about that in a
Yes.
second. So, I think you would definitely get, I want to say like an 8 for that, a band 8 level speaking, 7.5 to 8 for sure.
Okay.
And I think that story could even get you a 9 if you focused a bit more on the card. So,
Yeah.
like you started with the actually, I'm a little bit shy to talk about it, but if I think about it, it's quite a funny story. It's not a bad lead-in. Like I like it, and if we were sitting in a coffee shop as friends, that's definitely how you should start this story, because I think it's a lot more emotional that way, and I would love to sit and talk about this for like 20 minutes with you because I think it's a great story. But in the IELTS, I'm just an examiner, and I really just have to assess what you're saying in that 1 to 2 minutes. So as crude and disappointing as it
Okay.
sounds, I just need you to be more focused on the actual object, right, on this fake Nokia 5. So I think you should have gotten to the fake Nokia 5 a little bit faster, and then had a chance to conclude what you're saying. Because notice, like, I had to interrupt you. Like, I think I actually let you speak for more than 2 minutes, and I had to interrupt you, even though I was really excited to hear what was going to happen at the end. I was like, oh, okay, I have to interrupt you here now. It's I've got another candidate that's coming behind you, and I won't have chance to ask part three. So, but it was really funny. Like, you're like a robot. Was it really like a robot that answered? So there was no actual, like, you couldn't really get onto a wireless network, I'm guessing, right?
Yes.
Okay, but hey, it answered. It answered, right? All right. So just at the end there, I think, Silviana, you should have said something more like, obviously, this phone was not a real Nokia 5, but it made me happy at the time. And now I look back on this positively, and I know that my mom really loves me. So that it's that concluding sentence that I was talking about, right? Which
Yeah.
kind of tells me, okay, I'm done. Like, you can go to part three now. I'm done, right? So try that concluding sentence. You don't have to repeat exactly what I said, but think about a concluding sentence and just give me a concluding sentence that you think would finish this story for the examiner. Go for it whenever you're ready, Silviana.
Okay. So obviously, this phone was not a real one, but it made me happy at the time. And now I look back on this positively, and I know that my mom really loves me.
Okay, and then I know you're done. Like that gives me that sense of completion, and I can keep moving on. So ideally, in the perfect situation in the IELTS exam, the examiner is not interrupting you. So we don't want to create situations where the examiner is forced to interrupt us. Okay, that's an important
Okay.
part of the practice. But otherwise, Silviana, fantastic answer, really good grammar. Just repeat this word after me. I was extremely embarrassed.
I was extremely embarrassed.
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 Yeah, yeah, there you go. That T is very important in that past tense. So I was embarrassed. Okay?
Okay, sir.
All right, perfect. Silviana, thank you for sharing that story. It was quite amazing. And a thumbs up to your mom as well as you this time, okay? All right,
Thank
have a
you, sir.
lovely rest of your day. Bye, Silviana.
Bye, sir.
All right, let's give Silviana a thumbs up. What a what a fantastic story of a replica Nokia 5 phone. She really deserves it. What a great share. All right, let's move a little bit lower here in the list. Romelia looks like you're still thinking. Sanantha looks like she's ready. Sanantha, hi, are you ready to share a story with us? All right, we've got a good amount of time, students. So if you're one of our premium students or one of our members, definitely keep thinking about your answers here. Sanantha, if you'd like to give this a shot, let me know. Sarah says, great job, Silviana. Absolutely. Hi, Sanantha.
How are you?
I am doing great. Thank you for asking. How are you doing?
I'm a little bit nervous.
You shouldn't be, Sanantha. You're in Thailand, right, Sanantha?
Yes, I'm from Thailand.
Right. And I've been to Thailand way back in 2001. There are some knockoff products available in Thailand, right?
Yeah.
Sanantha's like, yes. No, that was a loaded question, Sanantha. When I was in Thailand, I was surprised how many knockoff products were available. I was like, whoa, where's the originals? So there's definitely a few. I collect masks. When I go traveling, I really like to buy a mask
You have
that's
to
made.
buy in a real shop, like on a shopping mall.
I learned that, yeah. So when I was there, I learned that.
Yeah, the original.
Absolutely. Yeah, those street shops are pretty risky, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay, Sanantha. Well, let's do this. So let me start you off. And again, just like with Silviana, if you want, you can talk about sunglasses. If you have something else, talk about that. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. So now we will continue with speaking part 2. Talk about an object you got, which is a replica and not the original. Your 1-minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
Okay. Last month, I went to Pattaya to shopping because I want to get a Louis Vuitton shoulder bag, and I looked for and I went to the we call the shopping the market in the Pattaya. There's a lot of brand name, and the price is discount for 50% or for 3 days. It's there are a lot of high brands like Chanel and Louis Vuitton, and many kind of similar to original ones. So I got a Chanel shoulder bag, and it's the Chanel Classics flip bag, size 8 inches. That's a black color. That's I really par it's very beautiful that I bought one for 1,000 no uh 10,000 baht. So it look so similar the original one because all of the accessory and premium box. So when I get back to and use this for a month, that the brake is have something wrong because of that have some worn out in a sieve is cannot use normally, and that makes me realize that it's not original ones because
Okay, your time is up. I'm going to stop you there, and we will now continue with part 3. Please put the note paper to the side, turn it over, as well as your pencil. Okay, Sunantha, good idea. Same advice as with Silviana. Too slow to get to the item. It's probably the most common. I don't even want to say mistake, but it's the most common misunderstanding of how to do this part 2. There's too much of a lead-in, so you have too much of a backstory. Do you understand what I mean? Like you're creating, you're spending way too much time on setting up the story, and then there's too little time left to actually focus on answering the questions. So this is where, like, when Rakwe at the beginning of the class, she asked, like, what if I just answer the questions on the card, right?
yes, because I have no idea in my mind
Yeah, so this is where, like,
what to say.
so this is where, if you're answering just the questions on the card, you're in a better situation because at least you're getting all of the answers out, right? So you have to get to the Louis Vuitton bag. It was a bit confusing, right? Like, you started with the Louis Vuitton, then it turned into a Chanel bag. So that and you know, sometimes they're both. Like, sometimes you have a Louis Vuitton bag that's also a Chanel bag when they're a knockoff, but it was confusing. Like, okay, are you getting a Louis Vuitton or are you getting a Chanel bag? So you want to be careful. Your band score here would be about 5.5 because you have a slightly confusing answer. You're not really focusing enough on the actual object, on the replica. And then you also have some language mistakes with grammar, with vocabulary. So you said, okay, last month I went to Patria to shopping. It's not to shopping, it's for shopping, okay? Because I wanted to get, because it's you're talking about the past into the future. I wanted to get a Louis Vuitton shoulder bag, and I looked for it at the mall, right? So careful with your tenses there, okay? And then you spent a lot of time talking about the discounts and the brand names, and then you said high brands, and you had a little bit of repetition there with Louis Vuitton and Chanel. And then you said they're kind of similar to the original one. And then, but later you said that you didn't realize it wasn't an original until you got home. So it was a bit confusing of what was actually going on. So, you know, make sure that at the beginning, before you start speaking, you have a really clear idea of that Louis Vuitton shoulder bag, okay? So that you're only talking about that. All right.
Okay.
And then focus on that. So what I want you to do, Sunantha, is when you have a little bit of time today or tomorrow, please try this again. Stay with the same idea. So Louis Vuitton bag, record your answer on the phone, hopefully an MP3. If it's not MP3, it might be okay. And then send it to my email, which is up here. Because I think you can do better if you're focusing more on the object, okay? So send it to my email,
Okay.
either one of these,
Okay.
and I just want to hear you do a better job of this, okay?
Okay.
All right, so same idea, Louis Vuitton shoulder bag from Patria, just more focus on the object, why it's a fake, why it's a knockoff. You started to get the right idea near the end, but I wanted more of that. Like, obviously it was fake leather, not genuine leather like the real one. The color started to change after a couple of weeks when I was out in the rain, right? So there's a lot of good ideas that we can include there. So focus more on that part of the response, okay?
Okay.
All right. Any questions, Sanantha, about the speaking, specifically speaking part 2?
If I get this is or freak the when I don't have when I have no idea or how to say in front of the examiner, how should I
Okay.
uh
What should you do, right? Basically is,
yes
yeah.
what should I do?
Yeah. What should I do? If you're lost for ideas, you need to immediately reference your notes and the card. So definitely don't start talking about the stars and the moon and everything in between. Immediately look at the card and get a position. So where did you get it? I got it from this famous shopping mall in Patria for 10,000 baht. Okay, when and where do I use it? Well, I was using this shoulder bag for everyday purpose, to go to work, to go to my friend's house, for storing my keys, my wallet. And so go to the card, go to the notes, okay? As soon as you get lost, and then reorientate yourself and come back to it, okay? Especially focus on the last couple questions on the cue card if you get lost, okay?
Okay.
All right. And that's it. That's all you can do. And then remember too, Sanantha, once you feel like you finished, conclude, right? So, okay, in the future, I will spend more money and get a real Louis Vuitton bag. And then the examiner knows that, okay, now I can stop them. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Sanantha, you're welcome. Have an awesome rest of the day. And don't buy fake Louis
Thank
Vuitton
you
bags.
so much.
Okay. You're welcome. Bye, Sanantha.
Bye.
All right. Okay, everybody. Let's take somebody else here. Let me kind of jump to the bottom here. We haven't heard from Phuong in a little while, so I'll move around a bit here. We've got a little bit more time. Phuong, yes, are you ready? And remember, members, premium students, if you don't get a chance in this class, we've got that part 3 class coming up, right? So worry not. Phuong, if you are there, let me know.
Hi, sir.
Hi, Phuong, how are you?
Can you hear me, sir?
Hi, Phuong, how are you? I can. Can you mute YouTube?
Can you hear me, sir?
Hi, Phuong, how are you? Much better. Yes, I can hear you, Phuong. How are you?
I'm doing great today. How about you, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. It sounds like you're in a busier place than usual.
Yeah, today is Lunar New Year in Vietnam. My family have a party today.
Oh, wow. So, and you're here with us during your Lunar New Year party. Well, happy Lunar New Year.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Awesome. So you guys are having fun. And you're still here. That means you must really enjoy these classes.
Yes, sir.
Awesome, Phuong. That's great. Well, I'm happy that I came to give you a chance because I had no idea. So, Phuong, let's get into it. Are you ready to give a response to this part 2? I think we might have lost Phuong. Maybe the party got out of control. Are you still there, Phuong? Yeah, well, it could be that a lot of people are using that Wi-Fi system for wishing everybody Happy New Year and so on. Let me see if we can try to reconnect with Phuong here. Phuong, I'm gonna try to call you one more time, okay? Because I definitely can't hear you. So, no, Phuong, I cannot hear you. So let me try to call you one more time. Maybe refresh the page. Yes, I have a feeling that the internet is being heavily used where you are right now. That's my guess. Okay, but I'll try one more time. I'll try to reach out to you. Here we go. I think no dice there, but you know what, Phuong? No worries. Enjoy the party, okay? And If you can come back a little bit later, maybe for the next speaking part 3, that's awesome too. All right. Let's take somebody else. Let's take somebody from the middle here. Maybe somebody new. Members, how about that? We'll give a chance to Vorotilova. Let's see if Vorotilova is here. Are you there? All right. Lunar New Year in Vietnam. I had no idea. I for some reason I thought Lunar New Year was coming in February, but to be honest with you, I haven't really checked my calendar when Lunar New Year is this year. All right. Vorotilova, if you're there, let me know. We've got time for maybe 1 or 2 more volunteers, depending on how we do. So, Vorotilova, if you're there, here's your chance. Let's do a 5 count. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No. All right. Let's try someone else. Let's try... don't call me. I'll call you. Let's try Andrew, who has been very patient over the last month and has figured out how to connect here. Andrew, are you ready? Andrew says, yep. Okay, here we go.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
I can, Andrew. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm doing great. I woke up so refreshed today. Even managed to write a couple of essays before the class, and now I'm here.
Nice. Good work. Good work. Andrew, can you remind me where you are? What city? What country?
I live in northern Germany, in the state of Mecklenburg-Vorpommern.
Okay, you're in northern Germany. And interesting that you had to VPN through Portugal to...
Yes, I was so surprised myself because Germany is one of the most successful countries in Europe. So there's literally no reason it would prevent me from using a website located in Canada.
Although Germany is, I don't know, there's a lot of strange things happening in Germany these days. So I don't know.
Yes, unfortunately.
Anyhow, all right, Andrew. Well, let's jump into this. So I'm going to show you the card here. You should see it, and then I will start you off. Okay. Here we go. So and now let's continue with speaking part 2. I will show you some questions, and you will have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. Talk about an object you got, which is a replica and not the original. Your 1 minute preparation time is up. Please begin speaking.
A knock of items that I own is a replica Huawei FreeBuds i7, which I purchased on Amazon last November during a Black Friday sale. The seller itself wasn't very reliable, but the product came at a 65% discount, and I just felt like it's an opportunity I couldn't miss, so I bought them. On the outside, this pair is virtually indistinguishable from the original model. They have the same sleek modern design, white color. The earpieces themselves fit perfectly. Even the case, which has a power indicator and a huge logo right in the middle, looks exactly the same. If I'm not mistaken, the product is advertised as the best budget earbuds on the market for everyday use. They have all latest features and convenient interface for calls and listening to music. Myself, I use them every day, at least 5 hours for listening to music, working out, even shopping, because it's a pretty tedious chore. Also, I even wear them for video conferencing on Zoom and Discord, because they're very convenient and my ears don't get tired after wearing them for several hours. However, they are far from perfect. Problems began right away when I tried to connect them for 30 minutes to my phone. Also, the battery doesn't last half as long as the original model, only 3 hours instead of 9. Noise cancellation feature, which Huawei Huawei earbuds are known for is just awful. When I switch it on to prevent the noise of cars passing by, I could barely hear the music. In short,
Okay.
I think they're okay for their price.
I'm going to stop you there. Your time is up. And we'll continue with part 3. All right, that would be a band 9 response. Thank you for showing us what a band 9 sounds like. All right, that's a band 9, no question. Extremely well composed, very targeted, answers the question. If I wanted to make it a slightly better, then that concluding sentence, just that concluding sentence at the end that I was
spent too
mentioning.
much time talking about function.
Well, you just spent too much time answering the card, which is okay. And like I say, it's a band 9 because you answered the card. But to have it as a complete story, you want to practice that 90-second mark, because some examiners won't actually wait the 2 minutes, especially if you've answered all the questions on the card. They will interrupt you. But if you're doing a really good job answering the questions, like in your situation, then most examiners will give you about 90 seconds, right? Because you've answered all the questions in the 90 seconds. So you want to really train yourself to feel that 1.5 minute margin. And you will also see the body language of the examiner. You'll notice that they're kind of getting ready to move to the next part as you're answering the last couple questions. So as soon as you feel that, as soon as you start to sense that body language from the examiner, and this is why eye contact is important, then you say, so I'm happy with them, but perhaps in the future I would spend a little bit more and get the originals, just because it's annoying to keep recharging those batteries. And then it's done, right? So you deflect your voice and then you're done. Now, let me, so try it. Just try a concluding sentence since we're talking about it. Do you want to just give me one whenever you're ready?
If I find myself in this situation in the future, I would very much prefer to pay twice as much for the original model, which doesn't have any imperfections.
Lovely. And then now you're done, right? So now I know that I can interrupt you and we can move on and very comfortably give you that band 9 for this response. You did a couple of steps really well in this response, and I want to emphasize that so everybody can learn from it, okay? So Andrew here used a lot of really nice vocabulary, really focused on the product. So with your first sentence, you identified it right away. You said a knockoff that I own is a pair of replica Huawei earbuds, which I got off Amazon on Black Friday. I felt that it was an opportunity I couldn't miss, right? So you're using some really nice natural vocabulary and phrasing as well. And I think everybody realized that. So everybody realized that you are, using some extremely well-composed English, some good lexical resource, very nice grammatical range with conditionals, past tense. However, that's not the point that I want to emphasize here for everybody. There was another strategy that you did really well. And as a trainer, as somebody who has been teaching IELTS for well over a decade, for me, this was just awesome to see. I'm not sure how many people caught this, but when Andrew felt like he was just about to lose his grammatical accuracy or his thoughts or vocabulary, he slowed his language. So if you get the chance to watch this lesson again on the YouTube channel and listen to Andrew's response, pay attention to those moments in Andrew's speech where he actually slows to almost half speed his voice and his phrasing to make sure that his accuracy is maintained in his grammar. I do that as well. You'll notice I do that in my speaking as well. It's natural to do that for complex thoughts and complex ideas. So that was really well done, Andrew, and I want everybody to practice that when they have a chance to slow their speaking. Okay, so
thank you. I've heard this idea many times from native English speakers giving lectures and just speeches, and yeah, sometimes it helps because usually, well, with my speed at least, it's very hard to write complex notes in just 1 minute. So usually it's just very basic stuff, and the rest I have to come up with really quickly.
Absolutely. And then, of course, the other point that is good to notice as well is the use of quantitative language in Andrew's response. So 5 hours to listen to music while working out or shopping. The battery is 3 hours instead of 9. So there was just a lot of really good quantitative language throughout, sprinkled kind of throughout the response as well. So that was really good. Thank you, Andrew, for giving that example. And I think that's a great one to end on. We'll talk again soon. Okay. Bye, Andrew. Thanks for now.
Bye.
All right, everybody. So again, we're using our website, aehelp.com, for these interactions. We will use it in the next class as well. You can join the Premium IELTS package by clicking that big red button on the website at aehelp.com. It's just above my head there. Again, it's a one-time payment, lifetime access. Members, students, that was fantastic. Okay, Sylviana, Sanantha, Andrew, Fuang, with the New Year celebration. Thank you so much for joining in, for volunteering, and for putting yourselves forward. That's lovely, lovely. It would just not be the same without that. So, Raquea, I will be looking for you for some part 3 answers, okay? And looking for many, many other students. The next class is open to all students for interaction. So make sure to join up, make sure to access the websites. Again, these websites that we use are aehelp.com for academic IELTS, gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. You can use this discount code WRA9 for that 10% discount. Sarah, thank you for moderating the class and for helping the students in the chat. Hopefully I will see all of you back here in 30 minutes for speaking part 3. It will be linked to this topic of part 2. Bye for now.